Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime Symbol, and today I'm going to be giving you part 8 of What If Naruto Was a King of Curses, Sukuna. Remember to get this one to 100 like as usual, share this to all of your friends on your social media platform, and also guys, if you're new and this is the first time you hear my voice, I have 4 more channels: Anime King, Anime King 2, Anime King 3, and Anime Prince, which I post what's fun every single day for you guys to enjoy. So go ahead and obliterate that red subscribe button and become a part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and your support. And don't forget to go ahead and check out the brand new episode over on Anime King 2 of What If Naruto Was a Uchiha that created his own village, and enjoy that guys. So without further ado or wasting more time, what do you say we jump right into this brand new episode? Begin now guys. So the last part that we left off, Tsunade and Shizune were making their way towards another village that was nearby. When they ran into trouble, they were suddenly attacked by several masked individuals after they came across an abandoned carton with a few people trying to get some help. It was a trap. They had to fight, as these people were expecting them. Their numbers were large. However, despite their numbers and their calculated attack, Tsunade was still a Sanin, and she was now pissed off as she was getting angrier as they fought. Shizune got hurt and she lost it. Using her seal on her forehead, she started to butcher every single one of them in her path. However, as they were going to converge, someone else appeared there as well, it being none other than Jiraiya. The remaining ninjas fled, one of them being Fu. He was Danzo's person, Danzo's root agent. He had taken over Shizune's body, but Tsunade was able to force her out of it though. However, now they fled away, realizing that if one Sanin was causing them that much trouble, 2 would massacre the lot of them. So they decided to flee, as Jiraiya turned his gaze towards Tsunade, as he had an idea who was behind this. We then skipped to Naruto, who was in the forest, as he was standing across from the white-haired woman, who had just freed the Sound Ninjas. One of them jumped to Naruto's side, believing that he was on their side, but Naruto quickly ripped him apart, without a single shred of hesitation. Rami was completely shocked as she didn't understand. Her master was right here. It was his curse engine, but it felt weaker. Yes, it did. It felt much weaker. As she reached toward his stomach, but Naruto grabbed her hand. She apologized as she told him who he was. She had no idea how he was like this. Some time passed after that, as Naruto was heading with the Sound 4 to retrieve Sasuke Uchiha. A lot has happened. For one, Naruto found out that he was this god. Yes, this king of curses, some god that used to be alive a long time ago. It turns out that he had placed Orame and several others inside of humans' body, so they would not be sealed. The Sage of Six Paths performed a seal in that seal all of the other cursed spirits away. There was only a couple that had survived, and he was the reason why they had survived. As Naruto was a demonic curse, he wasn't even human. Hearing that made him laugh, realizing that he was far above these weak, pathetic humans. But he was not the only one that has changed. A lot of changes that take place at Konoha. For one thing, Danzo was truly pissed off. However, Tsunade had nothing tying the man to what he tried to do. As all of the evidence, there was reasons to say that he was not involved, which pissed her off that she couldn't do anything, but it's only a matter of time before she did do something. She will find something on him, and he will pay for what he did. She had returned back to the village because of Jiraiya, and because of their talk, and now she was back to lead said village. She also had to stop Danzo from coming anywhere near the title of Hokage as well. However, bad news. Right after she had returned, Sasuke Uchiha decided to flee the village. So she had Shikamaru gather a team to go after him, as Naruto was there to bring backup. The Sound 4 came across Naruto as they went along. The team that was there stopped when they saw him. Shikamaru realized how bad this was. This was the guy that had killed the third Hokage. This was incredibly bad, and more than chaotic as they thought. The battle dragged on between them, as Naruto was allowing it to drag on. However, he put all of them in their places. He did not kill them though, as he was just buying a bit of time for something that he was planning. Naruto told Shikamaru to stop move before he ripped his throat out. Shikamaru decided to stay where he was, as he did not move a muscle knowing that he could not fight this guy. As for Naruto, he returned, and he returned with a bloodthirsty look in his eyes. He proceeded to butcher the Sound Ninjas one after another. The only one that did not fight was Teiwaya. However, since their interactions, she started to develop some feelings for him. Feelings that she could not deny, and she knew the moment that she attacked him she would die, as Naruto decided to use her. He saw the mark on her as he bit in her and sent his curse energy. He was testing something and it worked. The mark completely override Orochimaru's mark as she collapsed down to the ground, shaking. She was evolving into something far better than what she was right now. It was at that moment that smoke started to leak from the coffin, as Naruto realized that Sasuke was emerging. So yeah guys, basically that's where we left off. You guys can switch across to please and check it out for yourself. And don't forget to go ahead and check out the other channels. Yes, I need 5 channels which I post what you find every single day for you guys to enjoy. So go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become a part of the Making family. And thank you for all of your help and support. So without further ado or wasting more time, let's begin now guys. We begin this episode with Kakashi Hatake, as he was running as fast as he could. He's already lost 2 students, and he didn't want to make it a third. He's already been ripped apart, emotionally, mentally, and he couldn't take another loss like this. He had to make it. He was praying that he make it on time, as he quickly rushed through the forest. Meanwhile that was going on, Sasuke Uchiha stood across from Naruto, his curse mark pulsating on his neck, as he glared at the blonde ahead of him. "What are you doing here?" Sasuke asked. He had just been released from the coffin. He had no idea what was going on. He did feel the improvements, but other than that, the only thing that he knew was that he had to get to Orochimaru to get stronger. He had no idea why Naruto was here. He had never taken the consideration that Naruto had fled with the Sannin. He just figured that Naruto went crazy. After all, he was not a very sane person to begin with. Naruto was smiling, but it was not one of joy. It was one of bloodlust. Sasuke could feel it from here. "I'm surprised that that was your first question, and not, why did you kill Sakura? How could you kill Sakura? Maybe you're a little bit like me. You never really give a damn about her." Sasuke glared at him, but he calmed himself. "Get out of my way," he said. "I don't have time to waste with you. Unfortunately, I can't. You see, I'm gonna be killing Orochimaru soon, and I want to piss him off. And the best way to do that is by killing you," said Naruto. After all, He desired to take your body, and you, like a buffoon, is running right into his hands. So I'm gonna do both of you a favor and slaughter you right here. Well, you mostly. Sasuke looked at him as an evil grin came on his face. He clenched his fists. Things are different now, he said, as he looked at Naruto, trying to intimidate the blonde. Naruto raised an eyebrow. Oh, you gotten a little stronger. I've told you this from a long time ago, that I was going to kill you one day if you stand in my way. Sasuke said to him, oh yes, I remember quite well. And I did tell you that when that day comes, I'm gonna feed you your heart. And you want to know something? I'm going to turn that promise today into a reality. Try it and see what happens, Sasuke said, flaring his bloodlust as best as he could. However, Naruto just seemed amused. The Uchiha wasted no time. Maybe a part of him wanted to get revenge for what Naruto did to Sakura. That was not necessary, and it angered him, of course. While Sakura was a fangirl in the beginning, because of Naruto being a grade A asshole, the both of them had actually talked. And while he did not care that much about her, she was still a teammate, and she did not deserve to die like that. So, part of this was him making Naruto pay, and he would kill him for that. Sasuke rushed towards Naruto as Naruto jumped away, leaping back, moving towards where the stones were. Sasuke wasted no time as he hurled a massive fireball towards him. Naruto leaped up in the sky as Sasuke leaped up as well. He started to attack. Over to the side, the body of T.Y. was still undergoing changes as she was lying on the ground. She was still. Her body was pulsing with that purple energy from the curse mark spreading out from the bite that Naruto gave her, sinking his curse energy inside of her system. Meanwhile that was going on, Shikamaru and the remaining team, who had slightly recovered, they could feel what was going on, as Naruto and Sasuke were not taking it easy on each other. After confirming with Neji Byakugan, they decided to go around so they could sneak and make sure they were not spotted. As prideful as most of them were, Kiba included, they realized that none of them right here stood a chance in hell against Naruto. And Shikamaru knew that his threat was something that he would make a reality if they went up against him. So they decided to go around, and they came across a battle. Both Naruto and Sasuke were fighting. This could prove to be beneficial, a chance for them to capture them both and bring them back to the village. Shikamaru told Kiba to quickly rush back as fast as he could and inform them that Naruto was here. They needed help if they could make it on time. Kiba quickly made his way off as the others had to remain. Shikamaru knew if things got too bad, he need all the heavy hitters they can get. He knew that Neji was the fastest, but they're going to need Neji if things get bad. He was planning ahead for the worst case possible. Back with Naruto and Sasuke. Sasuke swung his fist towards Naruto's face, but Naruto vanished. Sasuke spun, lashed out his leg as Naruto caught his ankle. Naruto spun Sasuke in his grip and launched him towards a few trees. Sasuke had made contact with said trees as he used it to put himself upright and flip. He lashed out at Naruto with several spinning kicks. Naruto deflected and blocked each of them, once again getting a grip on Sasuke's ankle and launched him up in the sky. The Uchiha sped through hand sign as he breathed out a massive fireball. It came slamming down on Naruto with tremendous force. Sasuke landed until he heard behind him. That was weak. Bam! Naruto backhanded him as he crashed on the ground. Before he could pick himself up, Naruto dropped his heel right in Sasuke's face. The ground cracked several times as he bounced off it before leaping up to his feet. That is when Naruto buried his fist in Sasuke's gut Sasuke keeled over Naruto as Naruto rested a hand on his shoulder. Come on now. I'm sure that didn't hurt so bad. Naruto released Sasuke and grabbed his leg and dragged his face across the ground before throwing him. He appeared above Sasuke and dropped his ankle right into Sasuke's stomach. The Uchiha cried out in pain before he spiraled and hit the ground hard. Over to the other side, Shikamaru frowned. If this continued, Naruto was going to kill Sasuke. That is when Neji spun around as he glanced. Someone's coming. Who? It's Lee. Neji said. It's Byakugan. Finally, seeing the person clearly. Lee? Shikamaru said surprised. Given his battle with Gaara, he never expected that to be the case in the slightest. Lee arrived. Yosh. Reporting for duty, he said. I encountered Kiba-san on my way here. He informed me that you guys would need the extra backup, he said. That's good. Shikamaru said. They had a better chance now of coming out of this alive. That is when they felt it. A monstrous amount of power. It felt so dark. They glanced over as they saw Sasuke picking himself up. He was coughing up blood as he wiped his mouth, as his body was leaking a strange aura. Slowly but surely, Sasuke went straight into the second stage of the curse mark, realizing that he was going to need all the power that he can get. Sasuke wasted no time as his wings, strange hand wings, flapped behind him. He held his hand out and he started to charge a Chidori. Naruto looked him right in the eyes as he was smiling. Come on, do your worst, he said. Quick, Shikamaru said as he saw what was happening. I have a plan. Meanwhile, Sasuke was charging his Chidori. It was growing darker because of the influence of the curse mark. That is when Lee came out of nowhere with a spinning leaf wind hurricane. Naruto saw him coming as he reached and grabbed Lee's leg, cancelling out the force and tossing him away. Now, Shikamaru said, as he got it. Naruto looked down to see his shadow was captured. That is when Neji and Choji arrived. The both of them grabbed Naruto's right and left hand. As Shikamaru shouted out, do it now, Sasuke, he yelled. Sasuke might not be on their side right now, but Naruto was the greater evil, and they had to take him down. Sasuke did not need to be told twice as he rushed forward. Damn it, Shikamaru cursed. As Naruto's overwhelming curse energy broke his control, Naruto was about to rip Neji and Choji apart. However, suddenly, chains burst out of the seal that was on his gut. Said chains quickly bind him, wrapping around his arms and neck. Naruto blinked in surprise and shock. He could not move. Sasuke had the opportunity as he rushed forward and drive the Chidori clean through Naruto's chest, obliterating Naruto's heart, as Sasuke hadn't completely break through his back. They released him as Naruto's legs gave out, it seems. He collapsed down to his knees. Sasuke ripped his arm out of his chest as Naruto's eyes were wide before they started to roll back, and he collapsed face first, seemingly dead. Sweat was running down Shikamaru's face as he couldn't believe it. They did it. They took him down. Sasuke's hand was clean because of said Chidori as he was looking down towards the dead body of Naruto, when suddenly Sasuke was swarmed by bugs, Shino coming out of his spot. The Uchiha tried to escape. However, the bugs were pulled away because Shino was sent sailing as he crashed hard. Everyone turned. What now? Shikamaru said as someone else arrived on the scene. He had white hair, 2 red dots on his forehead and green eyes. Kimimaro stood there after witnessing what just happened and quickly took Shino out of play. Come with me, Kimimaro said. Who are you? Sasuke asked. Lord Orochimaru sent me to retrieve you. Let's go. Lee came crashing down where Kimimaro was. However, Kimimaro disappeared in a burst of speed as he reappeared behind Lee, driving his bone blade forward. Lee twisted and lashed out with a kick. Neji appeared behind Kimimaro the moment his feet touched down. He brought his hand out to cancel out Kimimaru's chakra, but Kimimaro spun. He evaded Neji attacks despite how close they were, and he was able to slam his heel into Neji's stomach, throwing him back. A massive arm came down. Kimimaro jumped right through the gap and flipped over Choji's head and landed behind him. The moment he did though, he twists and jumped up, dodging Shikamaru's shadow. Shikamaru cursed, sweat running down his face. This just kept on getting more and more worse. Sasuke, seeing his opportunity, decided to move until he looked down towards the ground. All of them paused. An ominous feeling started to fill the air. A feeling of death. All of them started to feel it. Kimimaro saw that Naruto was taken down. Given his dislike and hatred of him, Kimimaro was pleased because he did not tolerate anyone speaking to his master like that. He was even plotting to kill Naruto out here and tell his master that he was taken down by the other ninjas. That was how loyal he was. He refused to let anyone disrespect Orochimaru, even by their words. However, at the moment all of them were frozen in fear. A bone-chilling feeling was running down their spine. The Genins collapsed down. Even Sasuke was weighted down by the pressure. What is this? He said, despite being under the curse mark influence. Kimimaro quickly pulled out two bone swords. Despite seeing the giant hole within Naruto's chest, he knew that somehow he was not dead. A few minutes earlier, Naruto had found himself inside of his mindscape. However, he was on his knees. Chains bound his arms and legs, holding him down. His vision started to focus on what was in front of him. Two people. It was the same two people that he had felt in here when he last entered before meeting Urame, and he knew that they were behind this. He struggled in the chains. It's over. The man was the one that spoke. "Who are you?" said Naruto. Revealing out of the shadows, it was none other than the fourth Hokage, Minato Namikaze, and a red-haired woman that Naruto did not know. She seemed really angry, tears in her eyes. "You killed our son," she said, as she clenched her fists. "Your son? Woman, I don't even know who you are." She stepped forward as Naruto saw the chains were coming from her, which bind him. The chakra was linked from the fourth Hokage and linked to her, which seemed to empower her chains. Naruto glanced down as he saw the gaping hole in his chest. It was getting larger and larger. If this continued, he would cease to exist. He can't believe that he was caught. But it was this woman's fault. These damn chains. As he tried to break them, but he could not. "There is no point in struggling," said Minato. "As I said before, it's over. You're dead. It's only a matter of time now before you cease to exist and finally leave this world." Naruto looked up. "You think you can get rid of me that easily?" "I will make it my goal to do so," the woman said, stepping forward. She grabbed him by the shirt. "You monster. You took my baby boy away. I don't know who the hell your son is, and you dare to take his name," she said, interrupting him. Naruto looked at her. "Now you're just speaking nonsense. What the hell is she talking about? She's being hysterical," Naruto said, glancing towards the fort, who seemed to have a better grasp over his emotion, as he wanted to know what was going on, as his mind was trying to figure a way to get out of this, and he felt something strange. Minato stepped forward. "Our son. He was born on that night of the Nine Tails attack. And when I sealed half the beast inside of him, something emerged from it. It was you." You merge inside of our sun. Our chakra was forced to watch it unravel. Something that was only supposed to happen if the Ninetales was set free. But you devour the Ninetales. You ate all of its chakra. And then you fused with our sun and rewrite his DNA. And you took over. Naruto raised the eyebrow at that. So you're saying that your son, the fourth Hokage's son, was alive but I merged with him. And I took over, said Naruto. Well, that's interesting. I guess that's a part of the clue why Urame don't know why I'm here. And neither do I. But why can't I remember that? Naruto heard something as he turned his gaze. It doesn't matter. It's over now, said Kushina. We saw it. We could feel your aggression. We could feel your hate. And somewhere inside of there, I believe my son is still stuck with you because you completely took him over. And I won't allow him to suffer anymore. I'll free his spirit, she said, while destroying yours. But Naruto was not paying attention to her. Kushina was getting more and more upset. For years now she had to watch. Stuck here, Minato was able to use the excess chakra from the beast that remained to keep the both of them here. They knew the moment would present itself when they could make a change and stop this monster. They knew what he desired. They knew the plague that he was going to bring on the elemental nation. And it was in their best interest to stop him. And they finally got the opportunity. They've been watching, they've been waiting. Naruto glanced as he saw the cage over to the side. Minato glanced towards it when he saw the seal. It was breaking away. Minato had a smile of happiness on his face. He was sure that that part was a piece of this monster that called himself Sukuna. He was probably the memories. A large part of his power that was trapped in the seal with the Nine Tails. Minato was able to see correctly. He was sure that this Sukuna creature emerged from the Nine Tails. Whatever it wasn't chakra. Minato knew exactly what it was though. It was cursed energy. He had no idea how the cursed energy was placed there. But Sukuna was able to place his cursed energy in the Nine Tails. And when he sealed the Nine Tails into his son, he was able to emerge, devouring the Nine Tail chakra and spreading through his son's body before the seal was fully closed. The part that spread through Naruto's body was this person in front of him. It had separated them in half. This person in front of him was his son. His soul was devoured. His features were taken. His body was fused with the excess cursed energy, while the remainder that devoured the Nine Tails was inside of the cage. A large portion of Sukuna's power and the Nine Tails chakra as well. Only a small amount was able to escape, and that small amount was able to completely override Naruto's DNA and turn him into this monster known as Sukuna. That is the theory that Minato had came up with. How Sukuna had been able to transfer himself in the Nine Tails was something that he did not know. Given the fact that it was inside of Kushina all this time and it never reared its head, why did it decide to move now? Minato did not have the answers, but with his death, the seal was breaking down. And once the seal break down, his remaining cursed energy would be eviscerated into nothingness, even the large source inside of the cells. And maybe, just maybe, the Nine Tails would reform if the chakra is free. This was a first for Minato, so he had no idea if this was truthful or not. However, both him and Kushina were snapped back to reality as Naruto started to laugh. A throaty laughter, a psychotic laughter. What's so funny, Kushina said, glaring at him like she wanted to rip him apart. Her chains for their connected chakra was doing enough to bind him so that he could not move. The hole in his chest had expanded. They were reaching up to his arms. Slowly by slowly he was being torn apart. It seems you made a miscalculation in your endeavor of taking me down, said Naruto. Now I see. If I did take over your son, It's just a tiny part of me that swallow him whole. After all, it would be easy to take over a little baby. But that thing in there, said Naruto, glancing towards the bars. I've always wondered what it was. And you idiots, you just release him. You fool, said Minato. It's going to vanish, just like you are. And that's where you're wrong, said Naruto. You're killing me. That means the seal is going to swing wide open. And what do you think is going to happen then? Where do you think all that cursed power is going to go? Oh, let me guess. You believe it will vanish. But let me let you in on a bit of a secret. I am not a human. Both of their eyes went wide. They had known about that. But it was now as he was telling them they realized how bad, how truly awful what he was saying was. Minato looked towards the bars. He realized something. Cursed energy and chakra was not the same. He was thinking of it like chakra, and he thought, once Naruto died, that the chakra would... Oh no! Minato rushed forward, but the gate swung open. The remainder of Naruto's body was being disintegrated. The only thing that was left was his head. Minato Kushina screamed as Minato was swallowed by the cursed energy. Kushina was swallowed right after. The remaining cursed energy then slammed right into Naruto's head, completely swallowing him, following the demonic chakra of the fox. Slowly but surely, the energy started to form back into a human body. Faster, stronger, more powerful than ever before. His eyes finally snapped open. In the outside world, a thick purple mist exploded out of Naruto. Everyone was blown away. Over to the other side, Teiwaya's eyes opened up, and they were different. Meanwhile, rushing, Kakashi Hatake came to a stop, along with Pakon. The both of them gazed upwards as they could see a strange, purple aura that washed over the entire place. Kakashi braced himself as it washed over him and spread through the entire forest. It also washed over Konoha as well. It brought a feeling of malice, a feeling of hate, a feeling of chaos, and that was just a fraction of his true power. Meanwhile, Sasuke coughed as he got up to his feet, gazing around as he tried to find what the hell was that. He had saw Naruto's finger twitch, and then suddenly, an explosion went off. Kimimaro rose up to his feet, looking around. The other members of the Retrieval team started to get up as well. Shikamaru, feeling the tense situation, it was palpable in the air. That is when he noticed Naruto. Shikamaru's eyes went wide. How was this possible? He was dead. So how was he back on his feet? He was standing there as he was muttering something to himself. Shikamaru applied chakra to his ears to hear what he was saying. I wonder what should I go by? Naruto was talking to himself. Tuh. As strange as it sounds, I got to like the name Naruto. Besides, that is what they know me as, and that will be what is needed to strike fear into their hearts. What am I saying? I'll just keep the both of them. After all, who's gonna tell me otherwise? As he started to laugh to himself, finding what he just said rather ironic and funny. Naruto heard something as he turned to see Kimimaro rushing towards him, a bone sword out. Kimimaro saw Naruto's face. There were strange black markings on his face like tattoos, over his arms as well. The bone sword stabbed right into Naruto's chest, or that is what it seems like. Naruto grabbed Kimimaro's wrist. The bone sword did not even graze him, as he looked him right in the eyes. Not fast or strong enough. Naruto backhanded Kimimaro. Everyone in the vicinity heard it. Shattering sounds like Kimimaro's entire face had been caved in. His body hit and bounced at least 5 times, before crashing through several trees. Naruto flexed his arms as he looked at them. Still not quite there yet. I was trying to take his head off, Naruto said to himself. He was still not fully recovered yet. He remembered everything. He knew everything now. It all came rushing back to him. Naruto smiled, rather happily, as he looked around, seeing the shocked expressions on the face of the ninjas. What's wrong? He asked, scared. He heard something as he turned to see Sasuke charging towards him with a Chidori. Naruto weaved under the attack and gripped Sasuke by the throat. Naruto proceeded to lift him off the ground. When he brought Sasuke down, the entire valley shook. The Uchiha immediately lost the curse mark. Sasuke spat out a whole glob of blood. His back was fractured, as he wasn't prepared for the force that Naruto had brought him down with. A piece of the land had broken off. Sasuke screamed so loud, a blood-curdling scream. He rolled over as he could not even get to his feet. His spine was badly damaged. He tried to crawl away as Naruto stepped into his back. The scream that released from his throat, it was chilling. Lee came rushing forward as he swung right at Naruto. Naruto ducked under the attack before he ripped his hand into Lee's back, his nails tearing into Lee. Lee cried out as he was forced to land. Naruto then kicked his feet from underneath him and grabbed his head. He then bashed it in the ground. Not once, not twice, another time. Naruto turned as he saw Choji extend his hand trying to grab them. A smile appeared on his face. Naruto appeared above Choji's large hand and stepped right into the joint. Choji screamed out as Naruto stuffed his feet into his mouth, shattering several of his teeth. Choji's head bounced across the pavement. Bugs tried to surround Naruto. However, he raised his hand as they were burned by an intense flame. Shino blinked as Naruto was gone. Shino cried out as a large slash ripped from his shoulder down to his stomach as blood exploded out of him. The body dropped in agonizing pain. Naruto turned as his gaze fell on Shikamaru. Shikamaru could see the difference. Who are you? He said. Oh, it's still me. It's just, I'm a lot better, he said. I did warn you not to come after me. I guess you forfeit the right of any of them living. Isn't that right, Hyuga? Said Naruto. He spun around and grabbed Neji's hand. Neji tried to spin, but Naruto stepped into his chest. Neji slammed down into the ground as Naruto smiled before. A blood-curdling scream escaped Neji's throat as Naruto tore his arms out of the socket. Shikamaru's eyes went wide. His shadow had tried to reach, but not in time. Naruto then brought his foot down and stomped until Neji's head was obliterated, dead. Lee and the others tried to rise back up in pain. Naruto walked over toward the struggling Uchiha. Sasuke could not move. That is when Kimimaro came rushing out of the foliage. He was transformed in the Curse Mark II form. However, before Naruto could do anything, someone slammed their heel into his skull. Despite the toughness, his head bounced into the soil. The person was not done yet though, as something ripped into his throat. Kimimaro was baffled. Whatever hit him had moved so fast, he was unable to react. Whoever it was grabbed him by the face before they stepped into his back and started to pull. The person did not let up until they tore his head clean off. Standing there was a new and modified Teiwaya. Her dark pink hair had fluttered out. Her body had strange black markings on it like Naruto. Her eyes were purple and glistening. Her whole body seemed to be bubbling with cursed energy now. The process that changed her from a normal human being into a hybrid spirit. She stood in front of Naruto before she went down to one knee, bowing. There was a smile on Naruto's face. Without a word, he walked over and reached down as he grabbed her chin, forcing her to look up at him. She was smiling at him, a smile that he just loved so much. "Now that's what I'm talking about," he said. "How do you feel?" So much better," she said. Naruto smiled. "I knew that would be the case. So, I'm guessing the question is out of the way now." She bowed back her head. "I will stand by your side, Lord Naruto," she said. Hearing that, Naruto smiled. "Well, okay then," he said. "Just give me a few minutes." "Hey, Sasuke." Sasuke looked up towards him. "Screw you," the Uchiha said in agonizing pain. It was hard to even move or speak. Naruto glanced over towards Shikamaru. "Bring me his head," said Naruto. At once, Teiwaya vanished. She appeared right behind the Nara. Shikamaru felt it as sweat ran down his face. That is when she was forced to move, as a kunai almost slashed her down. She landed safely and looked up towards a person that interrupted her. Standing there was none other than Kakashi Hatake. "Kakashi," said Naruto, "what are you doing here?" As Naruto was talking, he was holding Sasuke by the back of the neck. Seeing his opportunity, Lee, who was not that badly damaged, or even if he was, he pushed through the pain as he came rushing forward. However, Naruto knew that he was coming. He stepped to the side. Lee swung his kick. "You know, you're annoying me," said Naruto. He slashed his hand outwards. Lee was sent falling back, gripping his face. Blood was pouring down hard. Kakashi appeared in front of Naruto, his hand covered in lightning as he swung it forward to impale Naruto. That is when Naruto did something that would further scar the man. Naruto put Sasuke on his back. He then leaned forward into Kakashi's attack. Sasuke's eyes widened as something ripped into him. Kakashi's eyes was widened in shock. Naruto allowed Kakashi to pierce him with his Chidori. And once he did, it also pierced through the Uchiha. Because Naruto had leaned into the attack, applying more force. Sasuke's eyes slowly lost their light. Kakashi was able to witness as his student died by his hand. Before he could retort or say anything, in his moment of shock, Naruto gripped him by the throat. He was about to rip it open, but instead he released him and knocked him away. The wound on Naruto's chest started to heal rapidly as Kakashi fell back. "I was going to kill you, but I figure this will make you suffer even more. And that would be more fun," said Naruto as he threw Sasuke off of him. The Uchiha was now lifeless. Naruto glanced over as he made a gesture. Teiwaya appeared by his side. "Come on," he said. "We're leaving. This should be enough for them. Pray to whatever god that you serve that we don't see each other in the future, because if we do, you will know that that is when I'll be coming for your life. And that is to all of you who are still alive." Say, Shikamaru, I bet you feel like crap right now. Your first mission ended with so much failure, said Naruto with a laugh. He grabbed Teiwaya around the waist. Before the both of them vanished, they were just gone, leaving the Konoha ninjas broken and battered. A distance away, Kabuto had arrived to see the last minute of the entire scene. Something that he could not interfere with. If he did, he was sure that he would die. Whatever happened to Naruto, it boosted his powers to level that Kabuto could not challenge. He was faster, stronger, and Kabuto knew that he would be itching to kill him. Orochimaru's right-hand man, given the fact that he just ended Orochimaru's chance of taking over Sasuke's body by killing Sasuke Uchiha. Time skip. Breaking the news to the Sanin was truly an unpleasant feeling. The bloodlust that reeked from the man had Kabuto shaking where he stood. Orochimaru told him to leave, as he didn't want to accidentally do something which would involve Kabuto's death, because the way he was feeling right now, he could rip and eviscerate anyone without even thinking about it. He knew that he was making a mistake. However, he thought he could keep the boy under control, that he could use him, and now the Sound 4 was dead, except for that traitor Teiwaya. Kimimaro, who he had just recently healed, was dead as well. Sasuke! Orochimaru threw the table. It slammed into the wall. His perfect host was now dead. He was furious. He was pissed off. When he gets his hands on that boy, he will eviscerate him into nothingness. He will make sure that it's the most painful experience that he ever experienced in his entire life. Orochimaru thought. Clear murderous rage on his mind. Time skip. Tsunade leaned back in a chair. Today had been a truly stressful day. A lot has happened in such a short amount of time. Neji Hyuga had perished in battle. Sasuke Uchiha was killed. Kakashi was affected, she could see that. Clearly so. However, he was doing what ninjas do best, concealing their emotions. But she did not think that was wise, as he was the one to see everything play out. Shikamaru was there as well. As for that boy, he's going to need some medical future help, keeping his mind stable. This was his first mission, and it turned into such a chaos. The boy was truly affected. The Sand Ninjas that she had called for did not make it on time, and in so, a lot of tragedy happened. Rock Lee lost one of his eyes. Choji had several broken bones. However, he would survive. Shino was same with several broken bones as well. The team had came back in not a good spirit at all. Tsunade took a deep breath. She signed up for this job, she had to do it. And she had to do it right. She went through the bingo book. The boy was in there. His name was Naruto Uzumaki. After speaking to Jiraiya, she could not believe it. She couldn't believe who that boy actually was. He was the son of Kushina and Minato. That information was not to go public. The boy has already brought a stain to their name. He had killed the third Hokage, and now he had killed Sasuke Uchiha. Many people saw Sasuke as a hope for the clan, and now hearing of his death, they wanted his blood even more than before. Not to say the passing of the third was not a truly tragic one, but yes. But she had to give them what they desire. This boy had to be put down. She would not let another Orochimaru be allowed to exist out there and bring Konoha nothing but shame. She refused to let that happen. Konoha has had its fair share of tragedies. Time skip. Zetsu had been able to infiltrate the village to find out what was going on. Reporting back to the organization known as the Akatsuki, the nine-tailed Jinchuriki has gone even more chaotic. He's killed 2 more people, and one of them was none other than Sasuke Uchiha. When the news broke, the visible expressions of everyone there did not change. including Itachi. This boy was becoming more and more of a threat, and he seemed to be rather unstable. They need to find him sooner or later and put a stop to him. When the meeting ended as Itachi returned from the hologramic state that he was in, he was quiet. Extremely so. Kisame did not even know that he even had a brother. And that was a shocker to find out. Itachi was unusually quiet. Yes, he was. As he did not say a single word. Usually, there was a comment or something, but now it was just emptiness. Nothing at all. A lot was running through the Uchiha's head. Sasuke was the hope that he was clinging onto. The hope that would be able to change. The name that when you say Uchiha, you would think about something greater and not what he did. However, his brother was now dead by the hands of Naruto Uzumaki. Itachi kept it in. There was nothing that he could do at this very moment. He kept it in. They say the rage of a Uchiha could burn so bright, it would never truly ignite. The rage brought forward hatred. Even now, the usually calm resigned Itachi Uchiha was festering in that hatred and rage. Yet he contained it so well. Most would not even know what was going through his mind and his heart right now. There was so much. So much. But that was not all. As the news broke, news could travel so fast over the elemental nation. Everyone wanted something that they could not have. But now, they could achieve it. The Raikage was looking over the latest news. This was a huge cash grab for them. Taking the nine-tailed Jinchuriki and removing it from the host, giving it to a ninja of Kumo. The Raikage started to gather his forces, his hunting ninjas. They had to find the boy and retrieve him. He wanted the beast. He did not care for the child in the slightest. He had to get his hands on that beast before any other nations, before even Konoha retrieved it. But he was not the only one. Oniki was deep in thought about this. With the nine-tail on his side, his village would be stronger than ever, and Konoha would not dare to make a move against him, knowing the wrath that could be released upon them. Konoha has lost so much of its firepower over the years. When the time comes, he should be able to bring them down to their knees. There was no way that they could stand against him. That brought a smile to Oniki's face. This was a delightful piece of news to hear. Yes, it was. Meanwhile that was going on, Teiwaya has never felt this fantastic before. She released everything. Empathy. Fear. She feared nothing. She did not even fear her master. However, her respect for him was so strong that she could never raise or deny what he asked of her. She could never do that. She's never felt so wonderful, and she was grateful to him for blessing her with this power. It was truly amazing. As she walked with him, she asked, "Where are we going, master?" she said. "To visit another subordinate of mine," said Naruto. As they kept on walking, Naruto had big plans. Very large plans. With this new information in his head, with his new mindsets, it was a wonderful feeling. It did not take them too long as they arrived at a temple. Naruto arrived as he stood there. She had gave him all the necessary information on how to reach here. Urame was there to greet them. The moment she saw Naruto's eyes, she bowed her head. She went to her knees. "Lord Sukuna," she said, as Naruto smiled. "How?" "Well, some stupid people did some stupid things. And now I'm back. I remember everything," said Naruto. "But how are you here, my lord?" she said. "Oh, that's quite simple. I knew that the sage powerful seal would send away all the cursed spirits. So for you, I bound your spirits to these bodies. That has kept you well over the years. You and the others, I presume. Yes, my lord, she said. As for myself, I stored my consciousness and some of my powers inside of the 10 tails. I mixed it to keep it from being noticeable by the sage. For years upon years, I remained dormant until I saw the opportunity. That stupid Fortokage was performing the sealing. And once he was, I was able to use my curse energy to maintain an opening which I could slip through straight from the 9 tails into their sun. We then merged together, while majority of my power was sealed away with the 9 tails. Because it was still connected, enough of my influence was able to merge with him. So, the both of you are still connected. Yes, we are. But that does not change a thing, said Naruto. Once the seal broke, all of my memories returned. I remember who I am, he said, with a bloodlusted grin on his face. Back then, the sage was only fighting me at 70% of my true power. The remainder was left in the cursed world. But now, after all these years, I finally know how to retrieve it, said Naruto. You do? She said, looking up at him. That was something that he was trying to do in the past. How he got here, he wasn't able to fully transport himself here with his full power. The human that he had tricked and manipulated was not able to sustain all of his power, and soon start to implode from the inside. So, 30% of his power was left. Yes, it was left back in the strange, accursed world where he was born, where he ruled as the god of the curses, where all the other thousands upon thousands of curses were. And after all these years, he finally knew how to break it. And once he does, he was going to regain his power and all of his curses. They would be free, and he would let them loose upon mankind. But he has much bigger plans before that though. Naruto started to walk. Urame did not question Teiwaya. She saw the devotion and look in her eyes. Naruto stepped inside. All of the people inside saw him. Released in a wave, they felt his glory. They dropped down to their knees, looking up at their god, Lord Sukuna. Many of them said these were the curses that Naruto was able to save, storing them in human bodies. Naruto walked forward towards the 2 statues of himself as he stood in front of his throne. Curses, he said, as they all listened up. Years ago, we were forced to hide away from the world by the Sage of Six Paths. However, this is our return. They could feel it, the inspiration, the bloodlust. I started my plan years ago, but I failed. However, this time, things are different. This time, I shall regain all the power I once had, and I shall return to the true God I was, and free our kind upon this world. As we march through the entire elemental nation, it will bow at my feet as a new god of this entire planet, said Naruto. The bloodlust from him started to make them excited. They were making all sorts of noise. Urame and Teiwaya, they were feeling flustered. The overwhelming sensation was like a drug to them. We shall make this entire world bow to its knees, and I shall lead it. And this time, there is no being alive that will be able to stop me, because I am Naruto Sukuna, the king of the curses, the god of gods. An explosion of cheers went off. They quickly adapted, calling him Naruto and Sukuna. As Naruto sat down in his throne, with a big smile on his face, filled with bloodlust. Watch out, world. He was coming. But guys, me ends episode right here. If you want to see next part and do, like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification they posted. Remember, share to all of your friends in your social media platform. And also, guys, don't forget to go ahead and destroy that red subscribe button and become a part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and your support. And yeah, without further ado or wasting more time, what do you say we get the hell out of here? See you guys soon. Peace.